My name is Van, and I'm from Thanh. Back when I was in school, people often said I was a well-behaved girl with a tall figure. I was even called the school beauty. Many boys pursued me, trying to flirt and win me over. But back then, I was still childish and hadn't thought much about love. I had a dream I needed to pursue, to study at a university in Hanoi. I come from a family of 3 siblings. I have a younger sister and an older brother. My parents work hard all year round in the fields just to provide enough for us to go to school. My older brother, being the only son and the firstborn grandson of our family line, was very spoiled by our parents. Because of that, he quit school before finishing the 9th grade, started hanging out with the wrong crowd, dyed his hair green, then red, and 2 years later, he got involved with drugs. My parents were devastated when they found out. They tried everything they could to help him recover, but nothing worked. Since then, my father became depressed and disappointed. For so long, he had pinned his hopes on his son, his pride and joy, only for that son to fall into addiction. I loved my parents deeply, but there was nothing I could do. The only thing I could do was study hard, hoping that one day I could help them. I wanted to take on the responsibility my brother couldn't carry. At 18, after all my efforts, I got accepted into university. My parents were so proud. They prepared everything for me to head to the city. When I first arrived in Hanoi, I still had that countryside innocence about me. That's probably why I didn't meet my first love until my final year of university. I met him by chance on my way home from class. My bike had a flat tire, and I was pushing it along when he passed by. He stopped to ask if I needed help. His name was Tai. He was 10 years older than me, but looked youthful, and his smile, accented by a charming crooked tooth, made him very attractive. After that first meeting, I was struck by love at first sight. When he asked for my number, I gave it to him without hesitation. From that day on, he messaged and called me every day. Good morning texts, sweet words, and kind concern. We went on a few dates. His deep, warm voice slowly drew me in. Before I knew it, I had fallen madly in love with him. He was my first love, the kind that consumes your heart completely. As I got to know him better, I learned he was 29, still single, and came from a well-off family in Hanoi. He had 1 younger sister, and his parents ran a business. After almost 3 months of dating, he brought me home to meet his parents. Things went smoothly. Thanks to my innocent look, tall figure, and gentle manners, his parents liked me a lot. Only his younger sister seemed unhappy, but since their parents approved of me, she couldn't do anything about it. His parents wanted him to marry soon, given he was already 29. They suggested we tie the knot and settle down. I was overjoyed. At that moment, I truly felt blessed. I thanked life for letting me meet him and felt so lucky to become his wife and part of his family. Our love continued peacefully, and 6 months after my graduation, his family started urging us to marry. At first, I wasn't ready. I was still young and wanted to enjoy life. But after hearing people say that marrying early meant settling down early, I gave it some thought and agreed. Part of it was because I loved Tai and didn't want to lose him. The next morning, we went to ask my parents for their blessing. My father approved of Tai, and since I was also of marrying age, many girls my age already had children, he was supportive. Tai spoke of building a future together, focusing on business and growing a family, and I believed every word he said. That night, I shared a bed with my mom, and we talked late into the night. She said, "Van, marriage is a lifetime decision. Think it through carefully." I whispered back, "Mom, I believe Tai is a good man. I've thought it through." But Mom still hoped I'd marry someone nearby, so I wouldn't be too far from them. I reassured her, "It's not that far, Mom. I can come home anytime. Don't worry." She nodded, but sighed deeply. While we were talking, I fell asleep without realizing. Early the next morning, Tai received a phone call. It was his mother. I overheard him say, "Yes, Mom, you've picked a good date for the wedding? Great, I'll let her parents know. We'll visit them in 2 days to talk everything through." Di looked so happy, more cheerful than I'd ever seen him. And I was happy too, because I was about to marry the man I loved. I felt like my life was complete. Because the two families had already met and the wedding date was set, Thai began to express his physical desires more openly. Caught up in love and a bit naive, I gave myself to him. I never expected that I'd get pregnant right after. I didn't even notice I had missed my period for over a month, until my mother, who's very sharp, brought it up. She asked, "Vun, haven't you had your period this month?" I innocently replied, "Not yet, Mom. Sometimes it's irregular." But her face changed. "Last time was around the 16th, wasn't it? It's already been over 6 weeks. Could it be?" She didn't finish her sentence, but told me to lift up my shirt so she could check. As soon as I did, I murmured to myself, "It's true," because my breasts had started to swell and ache. So my mom and I went to the clinic together. The result? I was nearly 6 weeks pregnant. My mom didn't say a word at first. After a while, she calmly said, "Well, the wedding is coming up anyway. Your job now is to take good care of yourself and nourish my grandchild so they'll be healthy. Now that you're pregnant, walk carefully. No more running around all the time." "Yes, Mom, thank you." "All right. What are you craving?" "I'll buy it for you." "You want figs? Eat something more nutritious. How will figs help the baby grow?" Oh God, just hearing that made me want to cry tears of joy. Thank goodness my mom wasn't old-fashioned like those women who believed eating before marriage meant you'd be shaved bald, smeared with lime, and set adrift on a raft. In my hometown, there are still lots of people with those outdated mindsets. Not everyone is as easygoing as my mom. As soon as we got home, we called him to share the news. He was so happy. His voice rang through the phone. "I'm going to be a dad. Thank you, my love. I love you and our baby." I was overwhelmed with happiness, already dreaming about our future. A happy home. A little while later, my phone rang. I looked at the screen. It was Thai's mother. She had already heard from Thai that I was pregnant. She gave me tons of advice, mostly about food. No green papaya, no sweet leaf in the first 10 months. Walk gently so nothing happens to her precious grandchild. I was still happy until I heard the words, precious grandchild. Suddenly, a heavy burden fell on my shoulders. From that day on, I began praying every day that the baby inside me would be a boy. When I was exactly 3 months along, Thai took me to a checkup. On the way, he muttered, "Daddy's about to meet you, my little prince." Another phrase that left me uneasy. Then the moment came. I was lying on the ultrasound table, emotions swirling. All I could hope for was that the baby was a boy. But the doctor said the baby was healthy. Before he could finish, Thai asked, "So is it a boy or a girl?" The doctor replied, "It's a girl. She's pretty, just like her mom." Just hearing that made my whole body weak. My eyes welled up. A girl, not the boy we had hoped for. Thai said nothing on the ride home. Neither of us said a word. Since that ultrasound, I hadn't heard a single call from his mother. Thai began to grow distant too. The messages, the calls, they faded. 3 days later, Thai called me. "Vun, we're not getting married anymore," I stammered. "Why? What's the reason?" He didn't hesitate. He told me directly, "I love you very much, but my mother wants a male heir." I was stunned. The man I had given my heart to now wanted nothing to do with me and our child, just as I wanted a grandson. After he hung up, I kept hoping it was just a bad dream. But it wasn't. A few days later, Thai's mother called my parents and officially cancelled the engagement. My mom was devastated. She cried the whole night. She sobbed, "Vun, what are you going to do now, my child?" All I could do was lie in bed and cry over my cruel fate. The next day, I gathered the courage to call him again. The first time, busy tone. Second time, same. Third time, he answered, but coldly said, "Don't bother me or my family again. If you can't give my family a son, you don't deserve to step foot in our home. I stood frozen. Tears streamed down my face. A wave of thoughts hit me. I couldn't believe that in this modern 4.0 society, there were still families that favoured sons and looked down on daughters. I thought that mindset only existed in feudal times, but I was carrying his child, so I abandoned all pride and tried to hold on to him. Please calm down. The first one is a girl, but I'll give birth to a second, then a third. Eventually we'll have a boy. Why are you rushing this? Forget it. If you can't give birth to a boy, you're useless. How can you be so backward? I thought living in the capital would make you different. Shut up. You'd better abort that baby. And don't ever show your face to me again. I never want to see you again. His words shattered me completely. How could he treat me like this? I was carrying his child. Even his parents, why were they treating me this way? I didn't believe the issue was really about the baby being a girl. I felt like there was more to the story. So decided to the city to find him and get to the bottom of things. I lied to my mom, saying I needed to go to school to collect some documents and that I'd also visit my cousin. I'll be gone for 2 days, then come home. Before I left, my mom asked again, "Are you really going to school?" Yes, after picking up the documents, I'm heading to Cousin Ha's place. I'll be back in 2 days. Come home soon, okay? And if you're going to get an abortion, don't delay. It's not good to wait, I hesitated. I don't want to get an abortion, Mom. The baby's innocent. But that guy Thai abandoned his responsibility. His parents changed faces like flipping a pancake. They're all trash. God is watching. One day they'll get what they deserve. I still hoped Thai would change his mind and marry me, so I said, "I'm going now, Mom. Go and come back quickly." Yes. And just like that, alone and pregnant, I made my way to the city to find Thai, hoping he'd marry me so my child could have a proper family. When I arrived, I found his house right away. Thai wasn't home, only his mother and younger sister were there. As soon as she saw me, his sister sneered and said, "Mom, the Thanhua girl is here." That sentence from his sister felt like a dagger to my chest. A sharp pain pierced straight into my heart. What little dignity I had left, I finally discarded. I forced a bitter smile and asked, "Lin, is Thai home?" Lin raised her chin and replied, "My brother's out with his girlfriend. You and my brother already broke up, so why are you still looking for him?" "I haven't broken up with him. I want to see him and have a proper conversation." "Give it a rest. My boyfriend has moved on. Don't try to hold on to him. It's pointless." Even though his younger sister was treating me like a stray dog, I still sat patiently at the gate waiting for Thai to come home. His mother saw me and came out. "You're still here? Why don't you just go? Standing in front of our house like this, how is that appropriate?" "Auntie, please. Could you help bring Thai home? I need to talk to him and make things clear." "You two already broke up. What is there left to talk about?" "I'm almost 3 months pregnant, Auntie. Thai can't just abandon me and the baby like this." She curled her lips into a mocking sneer. "How do you even know the baby is Thai's? You finished school last month and went back to your hometown. Who knows who you've been sleeping around with? Now you want my son to take the blame. Clever girl. Typical Thanhua people. Always scheming." I was devastated. How could she say that? I loved Thai and had been faithful to him. I wasn't some cheap girl. Crying, I tried to defend myself. "Auntie, I'm not that kind of person. Please don't judge me like that. I love Thai deeply. He knows how much I love him." "Enough! Shut up! My son already has a new girlfriend. He would never marry someone from Thanhua. Stop dreaming," I sobbed, choking on my words. "But Auntie, you're the one who picked the wedding date for Thai to propose to me. You agreed to our relationship from the beginning. That's why I allowed myself to get pregnant, because I believed we would eventually get married. But now that you know I'm pregnant, you suddenly change your stance. Why? Why, Auntie?" Because I don't want a Thanhua girl as my daughter-in-law anymore. Simple as that. What's wrong with people from Thanhua? We're Vietnamese too, aren't we? Thanhua people are dirty and manipulative. That's not wrong. Haven't you seen all those big companies with signs at the gate saying they don't hire Thanhua people? But auntie, there are good and bad people everywhere. No province is made up entirely of good people. Think whatever you want, but let me be clear. You have no place in my family. Get lost. Do you not fear karma, auntie? As soon as I said that, she threw a cup of water straight into my face. You little bitch! How dare you talk to me like that? You low-class tramp trying to latch on to the rich. Have you no shame? Stay there if you want. Wait for Ty all you like, but I'm warning you, if you step foot in this house again, you'll regret it. You dog. With that, Ty's mother slammed the gate shut and went back inside. I stayed seated, waiting for him. For the first time in my life, I had been humiliated so horribly. I wiped the water off my face and forced myself to endure the pain tearing through me. I waited a long time, but Ty still hadn't come home. His sister stood inside the yard and shouted at me, "Hey you, why haven't you left yet? Why are you haunting our doorstep like this? You planning to sit there forever?" "My brother's not coming back until tomorrow. He's spending the night with his girlfriend." I stayed silent. Lynn sneered at me. "You're pregnant, aren't you? So stupid. A girl should know how to protect herself. Now look at you. Has it sunk in yet? Still so naive." I sat there, numb and speechless. Lynn continued mocking me. "My brother doesn't even acknowledge the baby. Aren't you ashamed? Honestly, we don't even know if it's his or someone else's. You should shut your mouth. Who do you think you are?" I whispered. "How can you say such cruel things? Am I wrong? You're stupid and now you're paying for it. I bet your parents are ashamed of you too." At that moment, Ty came home. I quickly stood up. "Ty!" But he wasn't alone. Walking beside him was a young, beautiful woman. Lynn rushed to open the gate. "Ty Ann, you two are back already?" Seeing me, Ty looked slightly awkward. "You? Why are you here?" I hurried to him and grabbed his hand. "Ty, please, can we talk for a moment?" Ty turned to the new girl. "Anne, go inside with Lynn. I'll talk to Van for a bit." Lynn led Anne inside, and only then did Ty speak. "Van, why are you here? We already broke up." "I don't care about my pride anymore. I'm here to beg you. Please, don't do this. I'm carrying your child. Don't leave me and the baby." "I already told you. We're done. Don't cling to me. Please don't say that. I promise I'll behave. Just don't leave us. I'm begging you. Even if you brought me gold and silver, I still wouldn't marry you. Please step aside. My girlfriend just saw us. We're getting married next month." "What? You're getting married next month?" "Yes. Go back to your hometown and get an abortion. Start over. If you keep the baby, your life will be miserable." "I don't want to abort the baby. It's a sin. If you give birth and the baby grows up without a father, its life won't be any better. You're almost 3 months along. It's now or never. Please, Ty, think this through." "And what would you have me do?" "Let's get married and build a future together. We can be happy, Ty." "Enough. What do you have that's worth marrying?" "Do you even know who Anne is?" "She's the daughter of a wealthy family. Look at the car I drive. She bought it for me. Her house is on the main street. Her father has a high-ranking job. And you? What do you have? Or are you still trying to squeeze more money out of me?" Hearing Ty's words broke my heart. I never expected him to change so quickly. "So it's all because of money that you're abandoning me and our child?" The truth is, I knew Anne since she returned to her hometown, not just recently. Just go home. We really are over now. Don't waste your time clinging to me. "So you were two-timing me, is that it?" "Back then, and hadn't made her decision about me yet. But now it's different. She's pregnant with my child. I have to seize this opportunity. Her father said I could come live with them and I'd live in comfort. A car, a house, everything. If you can't give me what she can, then please back off and stop bothering me. I'm begging you. I have nothing more to say. I held back my tears. I didn't want to cry over this worthless man anymore. I wished him a lifetime of raising a child that's not his. A life full of shame like a dog hiding under the bed. Did you hear me? That's what they call it, a dog hiding under the bed. How dare you say that? Now I know I made the right choice. A woman like you never deserved me. Go away. Ty slammed the door in my face. That was the moment I truly understood. It was over between us. You can only hold on to someone who still loves you, not someone who only cares about money. I wiped my tears and told myself to stay strong. Everything will pass. Right, Van? Don't cry. Don't cry for someone like him. Be strong. You don't need him anymore. I quietly went to the bus station and took a bus home. It was 10 p.m. when I arrived. My mom was surprised I came back earlier than planned and asked, "I thought you were going away for 2 days?" "Why are you back already?" "My friend wasn't feeling well, so I came home early, Mom." "Eat some dinner or you'll be hungry." I had instant noodles on the bus. I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. I went straight to my room. I was so tired. I had begged Ty not to leave me and our baby. But in the end, I found out he had someone else. That woman was also pregnant and rich. She could give him everything I couldn't. So I had to leave. I lay awake all night, my mind torn between two thoughts. Should I get an abortion and start over, or should I keep the baby and accept being a single mom? I was so conflicted. What should I do? The next morning, my mom came in early to wake me. "Get up, brush your teeth, wash up. I'll take you to the clinic to get the abortion." "Mom, I don't want to do it. Please let me keep the baby." "What? Are you crazy? Do you want people to call you an unwed mother? This village is still so backward. People will talk. I can handle it. Please let me keep the baby, Mom." "No, you're being impulsive. You'll regret this later." "I've thought it through all night. I didn't sleep a wink. I want to keep the baby and raise it myself." "Please agree, Mom." "No, I said no. If you don't listen and bring shame to this family, then go somewhere else. Have your baby by yourself." My mother exploded in anger and yelled at me. I stayed silent, packed my things and headed for the gate. But she pulled me back and said, "Fine, stay. You're pregnant. Where would you even go? When you give birth, who will take care of you and the baby? Just stay. I'll help you." I cried and hugged her. "Thank you for letting me keep the baby, Mom." She sighed. "If you suffer later, don't say I didn't warn you. I've said all I can. If you're going to be miserable, don't come crying to me." "Yes, Mom." From then on, I stayed with my parents. Since I was pregnant, I just helped around the house with light chores. My mom didn't let me work. Time passed, and as my belly grew, neighbours started noticing and gossiping. Some even directly asked my mom who the father was. It hurt her, but she loved me and her future grandchild enough to endure it. They say people only talk for 3 months, not forever. 3 years have passed, and now everything is calm again. I gave birth to a baby girl, wrapped in the love of her grandparents. Since then, life became busier but happier. My emotional wounds slowly healed. Sometimes I wondered how that horrible man was doing. Was he happy living with that rich woman? But I figured he probably was. After all, having money is a kind of happiness. That's the happiness of wealth. Because of our distance, even though my daughter is now 3, Ty and I haven't met once since then. I don't even know if he remembers me. Does he remember the little girl he denied as his child? Maybe. Maybe not. But now I don't care anymore. Without him, my daughter and I are still doing fine. My mother and I support each other. When my daughter turned 3, I opened a nail salon. Business went well and I had a stable income. Life was much easier and more comfortable than before. My daughter had grown up and my job was stable, so my parents wanted me to get married. They said that when I got old, I would have a family, a husband and children to rely on. At first, I was firmly against it, but then my older cousins pressured me a lot, so I agreed. My older cousin arranged for me to meet Kwon. Kwon was a bachelor from the neighbouring commune, about 3 kilometres from my family's house. He was 2 years older than me and had just returned from abroad. Kwon studied in the same class as my cousin, so she told me Kwon was well-behaved and hard-working. She said if I married Kwon, I would have a comfortable life forever. After meeting Kwon, I saw that he was gentle and spoke very pleasantly. He told me, "If you marry me, just bring your daughter along. I will raise your daughter as my own." Hearing Kwon's sincere words made me very happy. At that moment, I thought Kwon was the man of my life. 2 months later, Kwon and I held our wedding with everyone's blessings. Everyone said I was very lucky to marry Kwon because he was handsome, came from a well-off family, and his family even owned 2 cars. Kwon's parents loved me and my daughter very much. Truly, my life felt like a fairy tale come true. After marriage, my in-laws gave us a separate place to live, a house right next to theirs. My husband gave me all the wedding money to keep. My in-laws were easygoing and treated me kindly. Whenever there was something, they always left a share for me. I felt very fortunate to have such in-laws. However, the biggest concern for me was about our married life. Even though we had just gotten married, Kwon was very weak in bed. We had been married for a month, but we only slept together twice, and each time I could tell he had to strain himself terribly just to be with me. Newlyweds should be doing this often, but Kwon only did it twice a month. It seemed like he had no desire for me at all. Those 2 times felt more like an obligation than an expression of love. I started researching male sexual dysfunction online and bought some medication to improve Kwon's condition. But when I brought the medicine home, he absolutely refused to take it. He said, "Why waste money? I'm completely normal." I replied, "I know you're physically fine, but don't you see how weak you are in bed? Only twice a month, and both times I see you struggling. Don't you think you have a problem?" Kwon felt insulted and angry. He said, "Are you accusing me of being impotent? Do you want me that badly?" I said, "I just want what's best for you." Then he snapped, "Now you see why you're so crazy. Moderation is key. Marriage is about love, not just sexual satisfaction. Understand?" Kwon's words hurt me deeply, full of hidden meaning and insult. From then on, I never mentioned it again. I threw away the medicine I bought. I told him, "Do whatever you want, whether twice a month or once a month. I don't care anymore." We argued and didn't talk for a whole week. He didn't even try to make up with me. We lived together but stayed emotionally distant. I asked my mother about it. She said, "If he's weak, I'll buy him tonic. He has potential, but refuses to take it and speaks harshly." What did he say? He said, "You're no good at all." Imagine newlyweds sleeping together only twice a month, sometimes once or twice every 2 or 3 months. How can you get pregnant like that? Then what should I do? Don't worry or think too much. Maybe he's having back pain. Just wait until he feels better. I knew my mother was just trying to comfort me. I was sure my husband was not sick. He still worked out and went to the gym every day. One morning when I took my daughter to kindergarten, I overheard my mother-in-law talking with a neighbour at the gate, since their houses were next to each other and separated by a thin wall. I clearly heard my mother-in-law say, "Has Van gotten pregnant yet?" "Not yet. I'm still hoping. They've been married 2 months now, haven't they?" "Yes, 2 months and 4 days." Is Kwon back to normal? Or is he still seeing that Bin guy? I was shocked to hear that. How could my husband be seeing another man named Bin? I listened closely. I don't know. Since Kwon got married, I haven't seen Bin come by. I hope they've ended it. If Kwon is married but still involved with another man, that's not right. Try to encourage Kwon to forget Bin. You know, gay relationships still aren't accepted here. Especially now that Kwon has a wife. He has to be responsible to Vun and can't treat her like that. I've talked to him a lot. He has to marry and have children to continue the family line. I would never allow him to bring a man home. If he still follows that Bin guy, I'll be furious. Calm down, we'll handle it. I'm so worried. When other women give birth to boys, it's normal. But why did I have a son who's gay? I'm suffering so much. Don't be sad. We'll talk to Bin and try to fix this. I was shocked. Now I knew why my husband was so cold and indifferent to me, because he loved another man. And every time he was with me, he had to force himself so much. For 2 months, I never thought about this. I went to my room and cried alone after that conversation. My life ended up ruined like this. My first love was a terrible man named Ty. He denied all responsibility when he found out I was pregnant with my daughter. He ran after a wealthy woman to have a rich and comfortable life. It took me 3 years to get over him and start my life anew. Then now I married Kwon, the man I thought would be a solid support for me and my daughter for life. In the end, I understood why he had been so cold and indifferent to me these past 2 months. It's easy to understand because he's gay. He married me out of family duty, not love. I feel my life is too cruel. What should I do now? After eavesdropping on my mother-in-law and the neighbour talking like that, I started to find out more about Kwon and the man named Bin. Since so many people knew Kwon was gay, my investigation quickly bore fruit. Kwon is gay, and he and Bin have been openly dating for 5 years. Back then, both families strongly opposed their relationship. So Kwon and Bin went abroad and lived together like a married couple until my in-laws came all the way there to try everything to bring Kwon back to Vietnam. After Kwon returned, my in-laws forced him to marry and have children to carry on the Nguyen family name. To persuade him, his parents gave him money to buy a car and build a house, and every month they gave him spending money. Kwon didn't need to work, but still had money to spend comfortably, as long as he married and had children like a normal man. But after 2 months of marriage, Kwon went back to Bin. They broke up when Kwon announced the wedding, but within a month, they got back together. What shocked me even more was that Kwon is my husband, but is also someone else's husband. No wonder he was so tense and miserable with me. Since I can't make Kwon come back to me, there's only one way left: to let him be with the man he loves. I don't want to separate their love. To me, same-sex love is still love and deserves respect. I'm not prejudiced against homosexuality. I just feel heartbroken because I was deceived. That day, when Kwon came home from going out, I gave him the divorce papers and said, "Let's get a divorce. I don't want either of us to feel uncomfortable like this." Kwon took the papers and hesitated, then said, "I know. Yes, I'm not against same-sex love. Same-sex love. I just feel a little sad. You shouldn't have lied to me like that." He apologized and I forgave him. From now on, live happily, okay? Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you very much. Be confident in your love. Nowadays, many people openly live their same-sex love happily. You will one day be accepted by your parents and live happily too. Thank you, Vaughn. After that, I talked to my in-laws and made my stance clear. I told them I didn't blame Kwon and hoped they would stop forbidding him. He and Bin have been together for 5 years, enough to prove their love. I wished they would accept Kwon so he could live truthfully with himself. After speaking my mind, I felt relieved. Then I asked to go back to my mother's house to wait for the divorce hearing. My mother was shocked a second time when she learned I married a gay man, but I managed to persuade her to understand and sympathize with Kwon. I returned to my nail salon job and took care of my little princess. My life would return to peace. Every day I work hard to earn money to raise my daughter. I promised myself that from now on I would just work and earn money. I would never marry again. As long as I live well, heaven will arrange everything. I can't predict the future, but for now, I have a great love by my side, my little daughter. That's enough for me. Dear listeners, You've just heard this story. I hope you will always support the channel by subscribing, liking, sharing the videos, and leaving comments below. Thank you all.